Welcome to the AMZ Wealth Builder free introductory training course lesson about me, Victor D. Alhadeff. As your instructor and as the founder of AMZ Wealth Builder Training, I think it's only fair that you get to know me a little bit, although I believe you are getting to know me as a result of this training. You know I'm a business person. You know I'm passionate about you knowing your numbers, the financial models, and the economic analysis that has gone into this strategic component of this free course gives you real insight into that, and that's a function of my business experience. And you know I'm passionate about the customer, and that's also a function of my business experience. So let me step back and tell you a little bit about myself. Okay, born and raised in Seattle, Washington. My dad worked in a steel mill. I had to work my way through college. I attended the University of Washington, graduated a degree in finance and accounting. I do like the numbers, but I love the customer. Okay, and worked my way through college selling shoes at Nordstrom's. Now, my Nordstrom experience really is going to come through in the full paid course when I talk about customer complaints, returns, exchanges, because in my experience as an Amazon FBA merchant, I've taken negative customer experience and turned it into 5-star ratings as a result of how I've treated that customer. And I learned that from the Nordstroms in the 60s. So that's really in my blood. Okay, got out of college, went in the Army, served as a second lieutenant in the United States Army. I earned my commission through ROTC. Like I said, I had a degree in finance and accounting, and got married young, got married at that point in time. And I've been married for over 50 years. I have 3 children, adult children, and 13 grandchildren. So that's just a little bit about me personally. Now, the first business that I started that's relevant here is Egghead Discount Software. But it is important for you to understand that my business career and the successes that I've had in business were really all what's called self-made. I didn't inherit a penny. It went the other way, in fact. But I understand exactly the importance of financial independence. And I understand that having a business plan to achieve financial independence is very important. And I started Egghead Discount Software with that in mind. And Egghead Discount Software was a chain of retail stores that sold software. And I don't know how many of you remember, but software came in a box. And when the original computers came out and the Apple IIe came out, and then it was followed by the PC, there was an explosion of desktop computing. And a part of that explosion was a need for application software, business software, and game software. And I thought a specialty store that provided assortment dominance in application and games would be powerful, and it had to be differentiated. I called it a discount software because I sold name brands, Microsoft type products at a discounted price, and it was differentiated service levels. In those days, you bought software in a shrink wrap box with no return privileges. Now we put in a return privilege, which people thought was crazy. People would buy our products and return them. But now the products that we have listed on Amazon have the most liberal return and exchange policies on Amazon. And again, I'll get into that later, but it worked well. And based upon the concept of a single unit economic model, Egghead grew nationally to over 200 stores. It also had a huge corporate and government division, had warehouses and distribution centers throughout the United States. We took the company public. So we raised private equity financing as well as public financing, and had a very large employee base. We had about 2,000 employees after about 10 years in business. Taking Egghead public obviously created some liquidity for me, which was wonderful, and provided the lifestyle for my family, which was wonderful. And obviously, that's what this training is designed to do for you, is to create transformational wealth. At any rate, after about 10 years, there were changes in the software industry. It matured, competition evolved, and there were changes. And one of the changes that I saw was the need for services, the need for training. So I started a small division inside Egghead called Egghead University and did instructor-led training on business software, because as corporations were putting computers on employees' desktops, employees didn't know how to use a word processor or a spreadsheet. Now our children learn that in elementary school. At any rate, I started that division, and there was actually a little bit of a division on my own board as to whether our future should be as software store or services. I really believed in the services side. So I purchased from Egghead the training division that I had created inside Egghead called Egghead University and renamed it to Catapult Software Training Centers. And that was my entree into the training business. And again, based upon the premise of a single unit economic model, we opened training centers, instructor-led classrooms, classrooms inside an office building, where we delivered application software training that was sold by an in-house sales division to corporations. And there was just explosive growth in the computer industry in the 90s, and Catapult really grew. We had about 28 training centers in 6 major cities, and our largest customer was IBM. But IBM was facing a business issue where their customers, their giant companies like Ford Motor Company, were buying thousands of computers from IBM, and IBM needed to support them with training. So rather than start a training division themselves, they liked us, we got to know one another, they bought us. So I sold Catapult Software Training Centers to IBM. I sold it on what's called an earnout, so I worked for them for 3 years. And it was a fabulous experience, fabulous business experience. But part of the instructional design that's embedded in this training is a function of that experience. So when I introduce a lesson, I say you'll develop the skills, because it's skills development that we're talking about. And as we get into the actual training course itself, we're going to talk about performance-based training, skills that you'll develop and you'll apply in your business. But the instructional design, performance-based training, the whole methodology were all a function of the Catapult experience. But as a part of the Catapult experience, I was in an international group with IBM, spent a lot of time in Europe. I had this earnout going at that point, so I knew I was going to do something next. But I had my hands tied with a non-compete with IBM. I couldn't do anything in the computer industry. And I saw a chain of retail sandwich shops, Pret a Manger. It was at a time here in Seattle where Starbucks was exploding. And I said, boy, a chain of grab-and-go sandwich shops could be fabulous. So I started a business called Brioz, fresh, fast, and fabulous grab-and-go sandwich shops inside corporate offices. And again, based on a single unit economic model, opened up close to 50 of those locations in 4 major markets in the United States, took that company public. And those cafes did fabulous. Again, based upon the same fundamentals that are built into this training, that attention to every little detail of your business, the attention to the customer, the levels of customer service. I mean, we put as many as 6 cash registers in a single store in order to get customers in and out in 2 minutes. We didn't want them to wait in line. So that whole focus on customer service was really, really critical. Product differentiation. I mean, we differentiated our products with premium breads, premium meats, and you're gonna differentiate your products with premium ingredients, components. So it worked terrific, till it didn't. And what transpired in the late 90s was something that was called the tech bubble. It burst. And when the tech bubble bursted, the office buildings where our customers were officed vacated. We lost our customer base. And as a result of that, we had to wind that business down and close it. And that was not as much fun as building it and growing it, but it was a realistic risk. And we learned about risk management there a little bit too. But the attention to customer service and Briaz was really a great, great experience. I then decided, I have this passion for training, and there's this hot little company growing called Google, and they're introducing something called cloud computing, and they're introducing something called Google Docs. And I saw the same opportunity for corporate America that was migrating from the Microsoft Office platform to the Google platform to have a need for training. So I created an online training business. I named that company Boost eLearning, where we delivered via the cloud training into major corporations, and it was e-learning, online training for their employees to develop the skills to use Google Apps, and whether it was search, whether it was Google Docs, and it was great. And that business, since it was cloud-based, it grew on the basics of providing the same level of service to major corporations really throughout the world. Over the course of time, Google itself embedded a significant amount of that training into the products they were selling, and there really wasn't a great future of that business. So I just, over a few years, just wound it down. And once that business wound down, I did some consulting, I did some other activities, played a lot of golf, but really had to work. I have a passion for work. I love to work. And so I decided to get back in the game. And as I got back in the game, I got back in the game as an Amazon FBA merchant, because I think that's a fabulous business. It provided me with the ability to work from a home office environment. It provided me to leverage all of my business experience, and it provided me the opportunity to make some really dumb mistakes and to have some products that are real home runs. And as a part of being an Amazon FBA merchant, I became a real junkie for training. I've purchased a significant amount of training. I watch a bunch of the free YouTubes about Amazon, and they all drive me nuts, with actually one exception. They drive me nuts because they're just some guy bragging about himself, or some woman, actually. There's a woman that has a really interesting approach. You could buy her book for $5, and then she tries to sell you her $2,000 course. But they all drove me nuts. They drove me nuts because they were, in my mind, disingenuous. They did not fully disclose the full cost of becoming an Amazon FBA merchant. They didn't focus on brand registry. They really focused on the least amount of money you needed to launch a product. They did not really get into any depth on the cost of your inventory, the importance of your listing, the importance of brand registry. They were good on certain elements of the operational aspect of operating an Amazon FBA business, and that's important. But I saw a real need for training, and I have a passion for it. So I decided I'd do AMZ Wealth Builder. And really, this is something I can feel really good about. Being an Amazon FBA merchant is nice because you can make money doing it, but I'm not impacting lives. Here I have the opportunity to take my experience, to take my knowledge, to put it inside your desktop, so it's on your computer, and enable you to develop the skills and the knowledge to be a successful merchant and create transformational wealth. And that's a feel-good experience. And at my stage in life, that's what I want. I want to do things that feel good, that impact people's life in a profound and positive manner. And it's a really wonderful thing, because we have a fractured society. We have men, we have women, we have this, that, and the other thing. And you know what? This is neutral to everything. Being an Amazon merchant is just a function of your skills. It doesn't, your background, your education, your race, creed, color, religion, lifestyle, irrelevant. What's relevant is that you can provide the individual who is putting in a search term, a keyword on Amazon, with the best shopping experience in the world. And you can provide them that customer-centric level of service as a result of the skills that you could develop from the training that I can deliver. So I feel good about that. So that's who I am. That's what I've done. That's why I'm doing this. And it's been a bit long, but I have a long, I have a lot of number of years to cover. So thank you for indulging me to chat a little bit about myself, but I hope it gives you a basis for understanding my passion. And really, I'm just going to wind it up with something I've probably said like 50 times already during the course. My passion for wanting you to succeed and knowing that you can only succeed with the brand registry and the tools. So I've said it, and really, I think this is going to be beneficial training for anybody who doesn't do that. I just think your odds of success are very limited based upon the changes that are taking place within Amazon as we go forward. So thank you, and I'm excited for you to enroll in the full course and to get to speak with you personally. You get, before you actually buy the course, we'll chat, make sure that it's the right fit for both of us. Once you buy the course and you're ready to launch a product, you get 4 calls with me, and we're going to play Shark Tank. We're going to play, I'm going to challenge you. I just want to make sure that you've given thought to all the elements that are necessary to have a winning product. And I think you're going to feel a lot better about the products after we have those conversations. And it gives you an opportunity to crystallize your thinking before you start to commit your capital, because we want those products to be highly successful. So I look forward to getting to know you. Thank you. I'm going to wrap this one up, and we're close to the end.